It's going to be kind of a team changes episode as well, where the previous year there was, I don't know, two team changes and they were kind of half expected or boring. We've got so many this year. And obviously, it's been talked about so much. But the Greg Minnaar one, and it's awesome to have Alan here with us because he's probably going to get some cool info for us. But I mean, that was huge. You couldn't have expected that at all.
No.
But maybe it's an odd blessing for us race fans because you're going to get an energized Greg Minnaar. You're going to get a guy that's forced to test a new bike more than he probably rode if he stayed with Santa Cruz. He's got all these new people like you helping with the performance management on the team. So starting with Alan, unpack that a little bit, and then I know Sven works closely with Santa Cruz, so he has all sorts of info as well.
Yeah, obviously a big change with Greg leaving Santa Cruz. It wasn't necessarily the phone call I expected to get, but it's been fantastic, and it's something that with the Norco team, I think for Greg, one of his big motivations is he's got this idea of the perfect bike. I think that's a big motivation for him. He always likes tweaking with a bike and trying to get it better, and he's always pushing that side of it. And I think that's a big driver to his motivation, to sort of seek that perfection that might never be there, but he keeps striving towards it. And when you move to a new brand of bike and you've got, it's almost like carte blanche really for him. The team have been incredible, and there's a really good sort of race engineering department there who really want to develop the bike with him. And so, we were in Portugal just recently, and that was a really cool test to be around all the things they were trying. And the way he tests is really methodical. And in that environment, he can also act as a bit of a mentor. And I think that's the first time we were having a conversation, and it was really interesting to hear how he almost didn't feel as though he was in a position to be a mentor to some of the riders previously, which I find staggering because who wouldn't want to listen to what he had to say? But in this new role, I think he can actively push that, and he's been incredible with Gracie, to sort of try and help her because she's so young. And there's so much development there, and with Lucas too. So yeah, it's been a great start so far, and certainly a lot of change.
Sven,
Okay.
it's certainly no. Geez, this is unbelievable. I've got to bring Sven in and not edit him out when he jumps in. This is going to be a joy to edit. Uh, it certainly was dramatic, and I needed my popcorn when all this stuff kicked off. You never want to see something like that happen to Greg or a
No,
brand, and like I don't want to go too much into the drama, but what we've seen is. You always have a plan in life until you get punched in the face. And Greg Minnaar's last season didn't probably go to plan, and we likely would have seen him retire at World Champs. Didn't happen. So he's got to sort of second go at it now.
yeah, I mean, I think more than any new bike, um, because it seemed like Santa Cruz were a little thrown under the bus, saying there wasn't a professional team or they didn't have race engineers. They had all that. They won team of the year. So, but I think a bigger motivating factor for riders like Greg, or even down to riders like Loris Ravelli that lost his ride on Canyon, the most recent race last weekend. Loris Ravelli smoked the two Canyon riders, and Loris was coincidentally riding a Santa Cruz, and then he beat Duprella, who's not on Canyon, and Henry Kerr and Henry Kiefer, who are, and he beat Loris Vergier. So you have these different motivating factors when you do change teams, and the same probably can go for, like Ronan Dunn and Dakota and that crew. They're on new bikes. They got something to prove.
Yeah.
Not that they were dropped. There was kind of more their decisions to go that way. But and change can be good for a lot of people. Just surfers have different results on different surfboards, and sometimes it's not that the board is better, but it's just change and it sparks something else. And then there's also the psychological motivator. You want to beat your current teammates, but you want to almost more importantly beat your old teammates to kind of prove a point. And that if you like just track results of riders when they switch teams, they often have their next or their best results on the new team. maybe they dig deeper, train harder, and it's just like, yeah, I told you so. So that's the whole psychology of like wanting to do well on a new team, and then just give the new team like a welcome here, thank you present, So I think that's going to be good to see, and I reckon that'll be Greg's biggest motivating factor, just to like, like what, just to prove everyone wrong. And I just hope he doesn't go the way of Kelly Slater, who like won Pipe Masters like a couple of years ago. Kelly's got 10 years on Greg, so Greg's still got a way to go. But then the last 2 years, he kind of just dipped in performance against the young guns. But I don't think we'll see that with Greg and his experience, and especially the first track being Fort William, one of his favorites. It'll be kind of a no-brainer for him, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head psychology-wise. Sorry, Alan. I think psychology-wise hit the nail on the head, and I was actually just going to come to you, Alan. I mean, starting a season at Fort William for Greg, staying on that topic, unpack that a little bit.
Well, Fort William's going to be a really interesting track, an exciting track for Greg, obviously with his success there, and for a lot of the other riders when you've got Charlie, who obviously is current world champion, having won on that track. And with reference to what Sven was saying on riders moving and maybe feeling like they had to move, I think it's the perfect time to mention Danny because of his situation with Cube. I think he's had a really difficult off season. I think he's been quite public in saying that it didn't go smoothly in terms of leaving one team and them saying, right, we're calling it a day here, and finding another ride. And I think he's definitely going to want to prove people wrong when he turns up to a track that, again, he's got success at. And I think he's up there today. He was up there yesterday. So a lot of these new teams, it's going to, it's going to be really exciting start at that track, although it is quite early for us to be up there. Normally there's been a national race first, and that's a chance for the track to almost get broken in a little bit because it doesn't get a lot of work over the winter, and there's rain ruts down it, and it gets really eroded by the weather because it's so barren and like exposed up there. So I think they're trying to work quite hard on it at the moment. And I think there's a little bit of, I don't think conflict's the word, but I think that the organization would like to see the track shut for a significant period of time. But I think that Fort William need to stay open to keep money coming in. They can't just have that track shut for a long period of time. So there is this sort of like interplay between trying to work on a track as it's kept open. And I wonder what state the track will be in come race weekend, and if we're going to see any changes. I don't know if you've heard some of the rumors about potential changes at that track.